back to our last day before exam revision videos. We have already discussed 3 videos. That is, one is on insurance audit, and another is management and operation audit, another one is internal audit. And coming to this video, we are going to discuss in this video about audit committee and corporate governance. This chapter is very important chapter. It covers around weightage up to 4 to 8 marks, right? And coming to our main topic, what is corporate governance? Corporate governance can be defined as a system in which the company is directed and governed by the management for the best interest of stakeholders and others, ensuring the better management, greater transparency, and timely financial reporting. What is corporate governance? It is a system in which the company is directed and governed by the management for best interest of stakeholders and others, for ensuring what? Better management, greater transparency, and timely financial reporting. This can be used as an introduction to any question if asked in the examinations. And coming to our legal framework, the corporate governance legal framework has been under section 177 of the Companies Act 2013, that is relating to the audit committee. And coming to the next, chapter 4 of SEBI LODR guide regulations 2015. Previously it was covered by class 49 of the listing agreement. Now there is all the listing agreement has been shifted to the LODR, listing obligations and disclosure requirements 2015 SEBI, right? What is the LODR regulations? LODR regulations only apply to the post listing requirements, means the company shall be listed for applying these LODR regulations 2015. What are the regulations? There are two parts in the regulations. One is substantive provisions and another is procedural requirement. The substantive provisions has been prescribed in the form of regulations, whereas the procedural requirements are given in the form of schedules, right? And going to our main issues involved in corporate governance, chapter 4 of SEBI LODR 2015. This is a wholesale question. If this question is asked in exams, we can write all the headings of the concept which we are going to discuss right now. Write only the headings of all the concepts like composition of board, composition of independent directors, nomination, remuneration committee, role and qualifications. Like that, there are so many points. CEO, CFO certificate. You can write all those points here if the question is asked based on this. And coming to our next important, the first part, that is section 177 of the Companies Act 2013. It relates to the audit committee. What are the requirements we discuss? What is the composition of audit committee given in section 177 of the Companies Act we discuss? And what are the functions we discuss? Right. Coming to our requirement, that is applicability. Every listed public company, we have to be very careful here. The word public company has given in only 177, 149 and 178. The applicability requirements are the same. Just they have given listed public company. In others, they just given every listed company. That point needs to be considered while writing the applicability for the particular section 177. And all other public companies which is having the criteria PBT. PBT means profit before tax, not profit before tax. Paid up capital, borrowings, turnover. Paid up capital, we have to see it shall be 10 crores or more, or borrowings exceeding 50 crores. Here it is only exceeding, not equal to 50 crores is not there, exceeding 50 crores. Turnover 100 crores or more. We'll see what is the borrowings. Borrowings here is loans, debentures, deposits, and we have to be very careful that deposits have been given in this particular section. Well, if they ask a question giving the balance sheet and say the applicability of whether that particular company, that 177 is applicable or not, we have to add the deposits, debentures and loans. We have to be very careful in this point. What we have to see, the paid up capital, borrowings, turnover, on which date we have to see the latest audited financial statements. On that balance sheet we have to check all these figures. Okay. There is an exception to this particular applicability section requirement. Unlisted public company, which is a joint venture company, wholesale, wholly owned subsidiary company and dormant company, according to section 455 of the Companies Act 2013, then the applicability of the 177 is not applicable to the particular companies. There is an exception given to that particular thing. And going to our next, composition. What is the composition? There shall be minimum 3 directors shall be there, and within the majority shall be independent directors. That is as per Companies Act 2013. And also the majority of the members of the audit committee shall have the ability to read and understand the financial statement. What are the financial statements? Balance sheet, statement of profit and loss account, cash flow statements. They should be financially literate. And coming to the functions, what are the functions? We have a shortcut R square SPP, or related party transactions. Because audit committee has to approve the related party transactions, or if there is any modification, audit committee has to consider the modifications. Audit committee has to another or risk management and internal control system. Audit committee has to evaluate risk management systems and internal control systems. Next one is S, scrutiny of intercorporate loans and investments. Next is V, valuation of undertakings or assets whenever applicable. Next is P, the proceeds of the money, means the end use of the money is raised from the IPOs or FPOs or term loans whatever the proceeds we have received, whether the proceeds have been used for a particular purpose or not, that thing audit committee has to check. And another 3 points are like the general points. Recommendations for ART of auditors. What is the ART? Appointment, remunerations, terms of appointment. For these recommendations shall be given by the audit committee to the board for the auditors. If it is a government company, it can only recommend for remuneration. Appointment and terms will be given by C&AG, right? And also next common point is the audit committee shall evaluate the auditor's independency and performance, and also the audit function, audit process. And also the audit committee general power is like examination of financial statements and audit report, right? These are the functions, requirements of audit committee. And one more important thing is audit committee, for every related party transaction, audit committee has to give approval, right? If what happens if the audit committee has not given the approval for entering into the related party transactions, we will classify these into two conditions. First is other than section 188 transactions. If any related party transaction is other than section 188 transaction, what is 188 transactions? There are 5 transactions, right? Sale of goods, sale of services, assets, officer of place of profit. Like that there are underwriting, like that there are 5 points are there, 5 transactions are there. If that particular transaction doesn't fall under this 5 categories, then this will apply. If audit committee has not given approval for the particular transaction, audit committee shall make recommendations to the board to consider that they will make some recommendations to the board. We have entered into transactions. It is we have made some recommendations. Please consider the recommendations. If in case of any transaction where the amount is less than or equal to 1 crore, meaning the amount will be 1 crore or less than 1 crore, then audit committee approval is not given for the transaction, and also it has not been ratified within 3 months, right? It is not ratified within 3 months. If ratified within 3 months, that's fine. If not ratified within 3 months, it is voidable at the option of audit committee, right? What if the amount is more than 1 crore? It is void, because for every transaction, less transaction, board of directors cannot come to the audit committee every time for getting approval. For that, they have given some limit of less than 1 crore, right? And coming to our next topic is auditors of company and key managerial person shall have the right to be heard in the meetings of audit committee, but can't have right to vote. See, if auditor of the company or key managerial person can go and sit in the audit committee meetings, they have the right to be heard on any point related to that particular auditor or key MP, but they can't have a right to vote, right? And coming to visual mechanism, the section 177, the same visual mechanism is also been prescribed. But we will see the applicability of the visual mechanism. Applicability is every listed company or the companies which accept deposits from the public, or the companies in the act own the word company has been used. So we have to check whether it is public company or private company. Then also this visual mechanism is applicable if the borrowings on the banks or public financial institutions exceeds 50 crores. Here also the word used is exceeds 50 crores. Every listed company or company accepting deposits from the public or exceeding borrowing from the banks or financial institutions exceeding 50 crores, right? What is visual mechanism? Visual mechanism is for the directors and employees grievances, right? For solving the grievances of employees and the directors. Disclosure. The establishment of visual mechanism should be disclosed in the website of the company or in the board reports. It has to be disclosed in the website of the company and in the board report. And coming to our next Audit Committee Regulation 18 of SEBI LODR 2015. Till now we have discussed about the 177 that is given in the section 177 of the Companies Act 2013. Now we are going to discuss what the other conditions, what are the regulations given in LODR regulations for Audit Committee, right? There also requirements are there, meetings are there, powers and role of audit committee is there. Coming to our requirements, applicability is like for every listed company, the LODR regulation 2015 shall apply, and they have to complete the particular regulations. Requirements. For an audit committee, minimum 3 directors will be there, the same requirement, but here it is 2/3 of independent directors, whereas in our 177 it is majority, but here it is 2/3. You have to consider 2/3 if it is a listed company, right? And if if superior rights equity shares are there in a particular company, then all the directors of the audit committee shall be independent directors. What is superior rights? In general, I will say what superior rights. Superior rights are, in the name itself it is there, superior rights. Generally, superior rights will be given to the promoters, founders of the company. They have in the point of voting power, they have superiority than the ordinary shares. Meaning, for every 1 share of the superiority right, they can vote for 2 times, like that, or 3 times or 5 times, based on the agreement, right? That is superior rights. If the company is having superior equity shares, then all the directors of the audit committee shall be independent directors, right? And also all the directors shall be financial literate in the audit committee, and at least one shall have accounting or related financial management expertise. What is financial literate? Ability to read and understand the financial statements. What is financial management expertise? There has given some qualifications. He can be CEO, CFO, like that. They have given qualifications. At least one should be there, and all should be financial literate. Whereas in section 177, it is majority. That point need to be remembered. And coming to the chairperson of the committee shall be independent director. Chairperson shall be present at AGM. Here the word used is shall, meaning the audit committee chairperson is mandatorily to be present at the AGM to solve the queries of the shareholders, right? And audit committee has a discretion. Then audit committee has a discretion to invite the auditors and heads of the finance departments to come to the come and sit the meetings and express their views. The company secretary of the company shall act as secretary of the audit committee, right? And coming to the meetings, at least 4 times in a year. At least 4 times in a year, and the gap between the 2 meetings is maximum not more than 120 days. Like quorum is 2 or 1/3 of the total number of directors in the audit committee, and at least 2 independent directors shall be present for want of quorum. This is very similar to our quorum section 174, right? What is at least 4 board meetings shall be 4 board meetings, sorry, not 4 board meetings, 4 meetings of audit committee shall be held in a year, and gap not more than 120 days. Quorum is 2 or 1/3, and one important point here is 2 independent directors shall be present for want of quorum, right? And what are the powers and role of audit committee? We'll discuss powers. Powers to investigate, to seek information, to obtain legal professional advice, to secure attendance from the expertise. These are the 4 powers. Just they have given 4 powers. If any question is asked, write the powers of the audit committee according to LODR regulation 2015. These 4 points, if that is enough, highly enough. To investigate activities for the terms of reference, to seek information from any employees, to obtain legal or professional advice, to secure attendance. What is investigate, seek, obtain, secure, right? And coming to now, we'll discuss the role. What is the role of audit committee under part C of schedule 1? They have given, I have already said, right? They have the regulations have been given into 2 parts, substantive and procedural. Procedural is given schedule 1. They have given some points. This is similar to the powers of audit committee, functions of audit committee, as we have already discussed in our section 177. See, what is the first point? The 1 point is relating to the financial statements, and 2 points relating to the statutory auditor, and 1 point relating to the internal control system, and 1 point relating to the internal audit. And the 2 points are reviewed management, annual financial statements or quarterly financial statements before submission to the board. And next, R square SCP, the same we have discussed in the functions of audit committee as in section 177, and others. There are so many points, but I have only shortlisted these few points. If you read these points, it is highly enough. Defaults, whistleblower mechanism, CFO appointment. We discuss one by one. What is financial statements? The audit committee has the power to oversee the financial reporting process, and they have to financial statements prepared are real, accurate, correct or not. That thing is the audit committee responsibility. And coming to the statutory auditor, what is the audit committee responsibility in relation to statutory auditor? For appointment, we have already discussed in the section 177. What is ART of the auditors? ART means appointment, remuneration, terms of the auditor, statutory auditor. And the second point, if the statutory auditor is engaged for any other purpose other than the audit, the fees, the payment for that audit committee recommendation shall be there. That is the second point. And the internal control system, for evaluation of the internal control system and risk management system, right? That audit committee has a role. And for the evaluation of internal audit function, also audit committee has a role, right? 4 points have been completed. Review with the management. Audit committee will review the management before submission of the report to the board for approval. Annual financial statements they will review, as well as the quarterly financial statements they will review. But annual financial statements they will review, they will consider for some few points. That is that separate question may be asked in that particular section. We will discuss below. And R square SVP we have already discussed, that is related party transactions, risk management system, scrutiny of intercorporate loans, valuation of undertakings of assets, the proceeds of money, right? And others, defaults. If there is any default in the payment of a dividend, debentures, redemption of preference shares, what are the reasons? That is the beauty of audit committee. Whistleblower mechanism. For effective functioning of the whistleblower mechanism, audit committee can have to look over that for particular function. CFO appointment. Audit committee is also responsible for the appointment of CFO and his qualifications. Right, and we have already said that review the management, annual financial report with the management before submission to the board. This is an expected in our attempt. We will see the following points. See, audit committee should be, in addition, it is the director responsible statement this shall be mentioned in the director responsibility statement. Those points shall be discussed in that review meeting. And also the accounting policies. What are the major changes and reasons for that accounting policies changes shall be discussed in the review meeting. And what are the accounting estimates on which the financial statements are prepared. Those accounting estimates shall be discussed in the particular review meeting. And also adjustments in financial statements due to the audit findings. If any audit findings has been done and has been intimated to the management, and any adjustments have been done by the management, those particular adjustments in which based on audit findings we have adjusted, those points shall be discussed in the review meeting. And compliance of listing and other legal regulatory requirements, audit committee has to review with the management. And RPT disclosure, that is related party transaction disclosure, has been correctly done or not, that shall be reviewed there. And qualification in draft audit report. Audit report will be there. In that, any qualifications are there on the particular qualifications, audit committee will discuss with the management. Right? What is that? Director responsibility statement, accounting policies, accounting estimates, adjustments, compliance of listing, RPT disclosure, qualifications in draft audit report. Right? And coming to our next question, the mandatory review areas of audit committee. Mandatorily, audit committee shall review these areas. Right? This is pakka. The audit committee has to review these areas. What are those? We will have a small shortcut, 3-letter shortcut for 6 points. MDA, RPT, law, IAR, ART, SOD. Right? MDA, RPT, law, IAR, ART, SOD. What is MDA? Management discussion and analysis. What is RTP? Related party transactions, we all know. What is law? Letter of weakness, letter of internal control weaknesses. What is IAR? Internal audit report. What is ART? We have already discussed ART, appointment, remuneration, terms of whom? Chief internal auditor. Here chief internal auditor has been used, right? And also SOD, statement of deviations. There is particular regulation is there for this particular statement of deviations. Audit committee has to review these particular 6 areas. Mandatorily has to review MDA, RPT, law, IAR, ART, SOD. MDA, management discussion analysis. RPT, related party transactions. Law, letter of internal control weaknesses. Internal audit report. Appointment, remuneration, terms of chief internal auditor. SOD, statement of deviations. Quarterly statement of deviations. And annual statement of funds raised to the issues. Any deviation from the effective utilization, project utilization has to be reviewed by the mandatorily by the audit committee. Right. And coming to our next, the management of subsidiary companies. It has been discussed in regulation 24. This is also highly expected this time. It has not been asked any time, but this time it is expected. We'll learn this point. What are the regulations they have given for management of subsidiary companies by the listed companies. For example, if a listed company is having subsidiaries, that is the subsidiary is unlisted, then only this regulation will apply to that particular listed company. See, we'll see the first point. What is the at least one ID, at least one independent director of the listed entity shall be the director of unlisted material subsidiary. Right? At least one independent director of the listed entity in its board shall be the director of the unlisted material subsidiary. That is one condition. We have used the word what is unlisted material subsidiary company. What is unlisted material subsidiary company? A material subsidiary company in which the income or net worth is exceeds 20% of the consolidated net worth in the preceding accounting year. Only for this purpose, it is exceeding 20%, whereas in regulation 16, it is 10%. Right? And one more amendment is there that material subsidiary may be in India or outside India. Coming to our second point of discussion, audit committee of listed entity shall review the financial statements, especially the investment made by the unlisted subsidiary. Audit committee of the listed entity has to review the financial statements. It has to review of the subsidiary companies. And also the minutes of the meetings of the board of unlisted subsidiary shall be placed in the meetings of the listed entity. Right? And also there is fourth point, management of unlisted subsidiaries has to periodically send to the notices to the listed company board regarding the significant transactions happening in the year. That is, what is significant has been defined here. Exceeding 10% of expenses, total expenses, assets, liabilities, income. If it exceeds 10% of the total of expenses, income, asset or liability, then it is called significant transaction. That particular transaction shall be reported to the listed entity by the unlisted subsidiary. Right? And coming to our next point. Listed entity shall not dispose of shares. The listed entity shall not dispose of the shares. It results into the reduction of shareholding by less than 50%. Meaning the listed entity will lose its holding power in that subsidiary. That company will no more said to be a subsidiary company if the shareholding reduces to less than 50%. For that, if any listed entity has to dispose of its shares in the subsidiary company, it has to require special resolution is required in the listed entity. And also selling, disposing and leasing of assets of the unlisted subsidiary company of more than 20% of the assets of the material subsidiary company during the financial year, aggregate during the financial year, in for that particular also SR is required. Right? And we have an exception to that particular SR, that is special resolution. Special resolution is not required if it is in the compromise, arrangement, or amalgamation. We have already learned in our company's law. If that particular disposal of assets or disposal of shares is in accordance with the compromise arrangement agreements by the tribunal, then special resolution is not required. And or also if it is under IBC, that Insolvency Bankruptcy Code, and any resolution plan has been approved, and in that particular resolution plan the disposal of shares is there, then also special resolution is not required. And one important MCQ we can expect here, that resolution plan shall be communicated to the section 31, and such event disclosed to the recognized stock exchange within 1 day of the resolution plan. That particular event shall be disclosed to the recognized stock exchange within 1 day of the resolution plan. Right. These are the 6 points for the management of subsidiaries. We are expecting this. Please read it very carefully. What is the first point? We will revise once. At least one ID of a listed entity. One ID of listed entity shall be the director of unlisted material subsidiary. Audit committee shall review the financial statements, and minutes of the boards of the unlisted subsidiary shall be placed to the meetings of the listed company. And management of unlisted company has to periodically disclose significant transaction exceeding 10%. Unlisted entity shall not dispose of which reduces a shareholding of less than 50%. Special resolution is required if they want to reduce. There are the exception cases are there, and selling or disposing of leasing of assets of more than 20% of the unlisted subsidiary. For that also SR is required. There are the exceptions. Compromise exception is there, and IBC resolution plan section 31 exception is there. And coming to our next topic, that is CEO CFO certification. Sorry for that unblurred. CEO CFO certification. This CEO CFO certification or any financial head has to certify to the board that they have reviewed the financial statements and the cash flow statements, and that financial statement and cash flow statements do not contain the materially untrue statements or do not omit the materially untrue material statements, and those financial statements, cash flow statements are true and fair view. They have to certify to the board this following: we have reviewed the financial statements, cash flow statements, and these do not contain materially untrue statements, or we do not omit these financial do not omit material statements, or these financial statements are true and fair view. Right. And coming to the second point, no transactions shall be fraudulent, illegal, or violative of the code of the conduct of the company. This point also shall be certified by the CEO CFO. And also they shall accept the responsibility for maintaining internal control system with respect to the financial reporting. That point also need to be certified by the CEO CFO to the board. And fourth point, indicating to the auditors and audit committee. The CEO CFO should indicate to the auditor and audit committee the significant changes in internal controls over financial reporting, or the significant changes in accounting policies. If any significant changes are there in the financial reporting internal controls, or any changes in the accounting policies, these things needs to be communicated or certified by the CEO CFO to the auditors and audit committee. Right? And also the instances of significant frauds. These 3 points shall be indicated to the audit committee on auditors by the CEO CFO. There are 4 points in the CEO CFO certification. Very easy points. For that, they have reviewed and they do not contain materially untrue statements, and that is true and fair view. No transaction is fraudulent, illegal, and violative. They have accepted the responsibility of maintaining internal control system with respect to the financial reporting, and they have indicated to the auditors the significance in the internal control over financial reporting, and also accounting policies and instances of significant fraud. Right. And coming to our next question, what is the content of MDA? We have already discussed the MDA, where we have discussed MDA, that is management discussion analysis, in mandatory areas reviews of audit committee. MDA, we will use some shortcut IOPR whole square DD. IOPR whole square DD. What are the contents in that MDA? We'll see. Addition to the director's report, this management discussion analysis is in addition to the director's report at section 134, and it forms part of annual report. Right? IOPR whole square DD. IOPR DD. IO means I means industry structure and development. O means opportunity and threats. P means product wise, segment wise performance. R means risk and concerns. Another I means internal control system and the adequacy. O means outlook. P means discussion on financial performance with respect to the operational performance. R means resources development, any material development in the resource utilization. And also in the DD is details of any significant changes in key financial ratios. That is significant means 25% or more than compared to the previous financial year. Any significant change in the financial ratios, that is financial ratios are debtors turnover ratio, asset turnover ratio, current asset ratio. Those ratios, any changes has been there. That thing need to be content of the MDA, that is management discussion analysis. Another D is details in regarding to the change in return on net worth. This thing IOPR whole square DD is the content of MDA. Right. And coming to our next topic, that is the regulations. We enter into the main topic, regulations. I have just briefed down, summarized the regulations, important regulations. For the regulation is the board composition. The first point is related to the board composition. For every board, there should be executive and non-executive directors in an optimal combination. And also the non-executive directors shall be 50% or more, shall not be less than 50%, right? And at least one woman director shall be there. And also if the chairperson is a nomination non-executive director, then one third of the board shall be independent directors. If the chairperson of the board is not a regular non-executive director, then half of the board shall be independent directors, right? And also if the non-executive directors 75 years is sorry, if the non-executive director is 75 years and we want to appoint that particular non-executive director, then special resolution is required. For that special resolution is required, we will issue notice in that explanatory statement, and justification for his appointment also mentioned by the board. And if there are superior rights, if the company is having superior right equity shares, then half of the board shall be independent directors. Only half means if the chairperson is not a regular non-executive director, then half of the board shall be independent directors. If there is superior rights, half of the board shall be independent directors. Remaining case, one third of the board shall be independent directors. And meaning of independent directors. The meaning of independent directors is the same as it is we have learned in our section 149 subsection 6 of the Companies Act 2013. In addition to that, there are some 3 additional points. Those 3 additional points we are going to discuss now. Those 3 additional points are that independent director shall not be material suppliers, service provider, customer, lessor, lessee of the company. He is not a material supplier, material service provider, material customer, material lessor, or material lessee of the company. And also he shall be aged of 21 years or more. And also one tricky point is there. If you read this point, you will get confusion. Yeah, I have an example for this also. For that, I'll just read the point. The independent director shall not be a non-executive, not a non-independent director of another company of which any non-independent director of the listed entity is ID. What about again? Not a non-independent director of another company of which any non-independent director of the listed entity is ID. We'll get an example and we'll very clear. For example, consider A Limited. A Limited is our company, and I am an auditor, and A Limited is our company, and B Limited is another company. And we will see in A Limited 3 directors are there: Akhil, Madhu, Venkat. Akhil is a non-independent director, Madhu is an independent director, Venkat is a non-independent director. And in B Limited, another company, Moli is a non-independent director, Nani, non-independent director, Akhil, independent director. What is that point is saying? Not a non-independent director of another company. We will see first a non-independent director of another company. Means Moli and Nani is there. Moli and Nani are not eligible to be independent auditor of our company if what? Any non-independent director of the listed entity, is ID, of which any non-independent director of the listed entity is ID in that another entity. See, we will see Akhil. We will see A Limited company. Akhil is there, Madhu is there, Venkat is there. Who are non-ID? Akhil is non-ID, Venkat is non-ID. We will see whether Akhil and Venkat are there in that another company. Yes, Akhil is there. Akhil is non-ID in A Limited and Akhil is ID in B Limited. Whether that point is satisfied? Yes. Then Moli and Nani are not eligible to independent directors in A Limited. Right? You understand? I think. Just go to the example and read the sentence again and again. You will definitely understand the concept. And coming to our next point. Regarding remunerations, what are the regulations? Fees are compensation to non-executive directors, including independent directors. Shareholders' approval is required. Approval is not required if it is a sitting fees within the limit of 175 subsection, that is 1 lakh limit. And see, if single non-executive director remuneration exceeds 50% of the total annual remuneration of non-executive directors, then special resolution is required for every year. If single non-executive remuneration director is receiving remuneration more than 50% of the annual remuneration of all other non-executive directors, then SR is required every year. Fees are compensation to executive directors who are promoters, members of group of promoters. In that case, special resolution is required if the annual remuneration to the executive director exceeds 5 crores or 2.5% of the net profits, whichever is higher, or if there is more than one executive director, then the remuneration for the combined, we have to see 5% of the net profit. If it exceeds 5% of the net profits, special resolution is required. Right. And coming to the next 4th point, the number of directorships and directors of listed entity. For example, if a director is listed, if a director wants to become a director of a listed entity, the person has to become director of a listed entity, then we have to see this particular point. MCQ is expected this time in this topic. See, sorry, I have with effect from 1st April 2019. That 1st April 2019 point is missed here. With effect from 1st April 2019, a director can be a director of a listed entity only for 8 listed entities. And also with effect from 1/4/2020, a director can be a person can be a director in the listed entity for only 7 listed companies. If he wants to become independent director If any person wants to become independent director of listed entities, then only 7 listed entities he can be independent director. What is 8, 7, 7? 8, 1 for 2019, 7, 1 for 2020, and 7 for independent directors. Coming to next B point. If he is a whole-time director or MD in any listed entity, then he can be independent director in only 3 listed entities, right? 877 3. That is very easy. Next, committees and memberships and chairpersons. Committees. What are the committees? Committees will be there. In the committees, director can be member or director can be a chairperson. For that also there is a regulation is there. Here, this is also important regulation. We will see. For limit is there for membership of a committee. Only director can be a member in a committee for only 10 committees. Whereas in case of chairperson, he shall be for 5 committees are there. In that we have to count the companies, right? What companies shall come under this purview? The public limited companies whether listed or not, and the foreign company, only the public listed companies that listed or not shall be considered. The foreign companies, the private company, the section 8 company shall be excluded for counting this particular regulation purpose. And also for counting the memberships and committee chairpersons, we have to consider only 2 committees, that is audit committee and stakeholder relationship committee. Only these 2 committees shall be considered for counting this 10 and 5 limits, right? And coming to our next topic, quarterly compliance report. See, quarterly compliance report shall be sent by the every listed entity within 15 days from the close of the quarter. Every listed entity shall send in respect of the corporate governance to the SEBI, right? To the SEBI only they have to send in respect of the corporate governance, because it is a SEBI LODR regulations. Quarterly they have to send within 15 days from the date of closure of a quarter, right? And applicability of corporate governance. These SEBI LODR regulations applicable to the every listed entity, but there are some exceptions. There we will discuss the exceptions. Regulation 17 to 27 and 46, 42 of LODR applies to listed entities, right? We have already know that. And but the following companies are not required to comply with the particular regulations. What are the following companies? In which the paid up capital is less than or equal to 10 crores and the net worth is less than or equal to 25 crores in the preceding financial year, and or if the equity share capital of the listed is exclusively listed in the SCME exchange, that is small and medium enterprise exchange. If these 2 conditions are satisfied, then corporate governance, those regulations may not be complied by that particular companies. Here the word undue use, we should be very careful. 10, 25, paid up equity and net worth, right? And other questions are there. Statement of deviation, regulation 32, limited review, information to shareholders. We will discuss the statement of deviations. What is statement of deviations? See, if any company is raising funds from IPO, FPO or preferential allotment, they will get some money, right? For that money they will use for the specific purpose in the define the prospectus, right? For that statement of deviation shall be given to the recognized stock exchange. Quarterly basis they have to be given. And limited review is on for the consolidated financial statements of entities and information to shareholders. Before 21 days of AGM, we will issue some annual report to the shareholders, right? In that particular report, some information to the shareholders should also be supplied regarding the appointment of directors, if any appointment of directors is happened, or reappointment of directors is happened. In that particular case, the following information should be given to the shareholders. What is that? B or N. What is that? Brief resume should be given. Brief resume of the newly appointed director and expertise of the newly appointed director and relationship of the newly appointed director with the directors and the names of the listed entities in which he is the director, right? Those things should be given. And coming to our last topic, this is a consolidation of SEBI LODR regulations. There are 3 committees are there, right? We have to discuss nomination recommendation committee, stakeholder relationship committee, risk management committee. Nomination relationship committee 178, stakeholder relation committee 178, Companies Act. Risk management committee will discuss. Board of committee, who shall constitute these committees? Board of directors shall constitute. And also members, who shall be the members of these particular committees? In case of nomination remuneration committee, all the members shall be non-executive directors and minimum 3. In case of stakeholder relation committee, 3 minimum directors. In case of RMC, majority shall be board of directors. It means majority shall be directors and members can be other than directors also shall be there in the risk management committee. And coming to the independent directors point. Independent directors point in case of nomination remuneration committee is 50%, that is half of the members of the committee shall be independent. In case of SRC, that is stakeholder relationship committee, at least 1 shall be independent. The risk management committee, no such point is given. And coming to next, chairperson. In case of chairperson of NRC, independent director shall be the chairperson. In case of SRC, non-executive director shall be the chairperson. In case of Risk Management Committee, member of Board of Directors shall be the chairperson. Coming to the superior equity shares, if the particular company is a superior equity share company, then at least 2/3 of the members of the NRC shall be independent directors, at least 2/3 of the SRC shall be independent directors, at least 2/3 of the SRC shall be the independent directors. Same point. And coming to our next 6th point, that is the point relating to the quorum. 2 members or 1/3 of the members, whichever is higher, at least 1 independent director. This point is similar to audit committee quorum, but one difference is there. In case of audit committee, the quorum is 2 independent directors, but here only 1 independent director. And nothing has been mentioned for quorum in case of SRC and RMC. And meetings, at least once in a year they have to meet. And the role has been given part D of schedule 2, part D of schedule 2. You can just see the role. There are basic points out there. And these chairperson shall be present at the AGM. This is not mandatory. It is only mandatory for the audit committee, the word shall is used, but whereas in this case, regulations, the word may is used. The NRC may be present at the AGM for solving queries of shareholders. The SRC also may be present. May word is used, right? And coming to one more important topic, that is, in our case, they have been given top listed entities, 500 top listed entities, 1000 top listed entities. Some points are there, right? We have summarized the points with effect from. See, matter is 1 independent director and 1 independent women director. 1 independent women director with effect from 1/2019. Top 500 listed entities shall have at least 1 independent women director, and also with effect from 1/4/2020, right? Top 1000 listed entities shall have at least 1 independent women director. Next, there is 6 directors in the board meeting. There must be 6 directors in the board meeting for the listed entities. For the top 1000 listed entities with effect from 1/2019, and for the top 2000 listed entities with effect from 1/4/2020, right? 6 directors, 500, 1000, 1000, 2000, 1 independent director, 6 directors, 1000, 2000. And next is also quorum, 1000, 2000. Quorum is same, 1/3 or 3, whichever is higher, with 1 independent director, 1000, 2000 listed entities with effect from 2019, 2020. And also a chairperson. A chairperson shall be the non-executive director and not related to the managing director or CEO with effect from 1/4/2020 for top 500 listed entities. Right? These 4 points are there. 1 independent director, 500, 1000, 6 directors, 1000, 2000, quorum, 1000, 2000, chairperson shall be non-executive director, 500, 2020. Right? That's it. Thank you so much.